Welcome to Durbania, I'm Durbin, and this is my spoiler-free review for Deepwater Horizon. You know who gave this movie a bad review? My wife just saw this online. Apparently BP gave it a scathing review. Probably not surprising, because the movie, it actually is kind of one-sided and points out those execs to be the real bad guys of the story. That said, as I'm reviewing this movie, I'm not going to comment on the real-life events or make judgments on the real-life people. That is just not what I'm going to do. What I am going to comment on is just the movie itself, how the movie brought me in, how the movie made me feel. So that is the perspective I'm going to come from. So coming from that perspective, so this movie follows Mark Wahlberg, who plays Mike Williams. It also follows Kurt Russell, who plays like the Captain Jimmy, and this other girl, her character name was Andrea. So the movie follows mostly these characters. And so we basically start out with Mike Williams in his home and things like that. But what I really appreciated about this movie, and isn't this interesting? This year, this is what, the third movie coming out based on real life events that have actually happened in the last decade? Fascinating thing. What this movie I think did better than Sully was, Sully didn't really give me that family connection between Sully and his wife, which I think could have added a bit more tension. I mean, how's the wife doing with all the stuff going on with her husband, Sully, and all that stuff? This movie did that really well. Right off the bat, it drew you into Mike Williams. It drew you into that relationship between him and his wife and his daughter, and it just really brought home that family dynamic. So when the bad stuff really goes down, and as you're watching this movie and you know the bad stuff is coming, it really gives you that foreboding sense right off the bat, because you fall in love with this family that fast. And I will say, like, the character Mrs. Williams is not on there a ton. But the times that she appears, it's powerful and it's good because they made that connection real. So that was one of the things they did right off the bat that was really right, is making that connection. The other connections they did really good is connecting you to basically all the characters in the movie. You get introduced to Kurt Russell in the beginning. You really get the idea this dude is not a corporate guy, right? Like, I mean, he's there to do a job, but it's his rig. He knows how it should be done. So he's not really the biggest corporate guy, and it opens with the BP corporate people there saying, no, we're going to do this, and no, we're not testing the cement thing, and blah, blah, blah. And so already you're feeling the frustration. You're feeling Kurt Russell's frustration. You're feeling Mark Wahlberg's frustration, like, well, okay, the cement thing is the most practical thing we need to have tested to make sure the well is stable and bad things aren't going to happen. And you just don't want to see if it's done right just so that we can move forward, and if there is a problem, you don't have to spend money to fix it. They did a really good job drawing you into their frustration, into the frustration of what was going on there, because I was with them. I was very frustrated. Then you have the BP oil execs, and the one that, like, is the standout, and there's a couple that are standout, but it's the one that John Malkovich plays. I forget his character's name, but I will say this. John Malkovich is a fantastic actor, because the way he did this character, the way they did this character in the movie, seriously, there were so many times I just wanted to... I mean, how can he sit there and tell these people who live on this rig, who work on this rig every day, who know how this rig actually works, how can he tell them how it works when he doesn't even know how it works? I mean, the movie really, it does a great job making you super frustrated. And then the action in this movie, it was intense. I mean, throughout the entire disaster of the BP oil thing, what they did a great job just from the opening of the movie, doing underwater ocean shots, going up the pipe and all that stuff, of giving you this foreboding sense, just from the musical score to the way they showed things vibrating, little bubbles coming out of the ground and the ocean floor. They did a great job in bringing you a foreboding sense. And then when the stuff really does happen, they continue the sense of foreboding, because they show you how more stuff is on the way, how pressure is beginning to build up. And so, like, even when things are going really wrong, you still have the sense of, oh my gosh, this is not over. Things are going to get an awful lot worse. One of the other things I liked that this movie did is it did do its best to help me understand the situation and what was going on. Like, text would appear on the bottom of the screen when they'd enter a room to kind of explain what the room was, or it would pop up on the bottom of the screen when they landed on the rig and things like that. So the movie did do its best to help me understand this world and just kind of do its best to immerse me in this world. And really what this movie did a great job with, it was the sheer drama and the human element of it. Mark Wahlberg just did an amazing job in that role. I mean, I felt his emotions. I felt his intensity. When he was missing his wife and his daughter, I felt that. I mean, I was rooting for him to get off that rig. I was rooting for Andrea. She was a fantastic character, a very strong character. The actress did a great job portraying her. Kurt Russell played his role, amazing. I love that guy as an actor. He had kind of the handlebar mustache, reminded me a little bit of Wyatt, but he just did an amazing job in this movie. And so from that perspective, I was so drawn into all of this. Some of the negatives that I can think of while I was watching this movie, there was some shaky cam when everything was blowing up, and I get it, because what you want is to convey the sheer chaos. You know, you want to convey that nobody can really see what's going on. Nobody really has a handle on what's going on. So yeah, I kind of understand the reason for why shaky cam was there. Now, that shaky cam was nowhere near as bad as the Jason Bourne movie. Whew. That was epically bad. This was not epically bad, but it was still enough that in some of the action sequences, especially in some of the key ones where I'm trying to see, okay, who's on this boat? Who's where now? What's going on with who? It made it hard for me to see. Now, moments after the scene was over, you get caught up really fast, which I guess is a positive, but yeah, that was kind of hard for me to follow, and my oil rig knowledge is not super high. I'm sorry, it's not. So there were a lot of things that they talked about in this movie that no matter how much the movie tried to help me understand it, to understand what was going on, there were so many places that I was still lost and still had a hard time following. But it wasn't so hard time following that I was taken out, because again, they did a great job playing up the human drama of it, the emotional parts of it. And that stuff was so utterly engaging that even in those shaky cam moments and even in those hard to follow because they're saying all these technical thing moments, I was still feeling the intensity that they were feeling, and I was still right there with them. I think in the end, I would give this movie an A. I mean, when we got to the end of this movie, it made me feel things. It was raw, and I thought it was a very well done movie. It just did a great job engaging me. It was intense from the beginning to the end, all the way from the sense of foreboding, the way they draw you into Mike Williams and his family life, and all the way, and this is not a spoiler, but in the end credits, the pictures that they have. I mean, from all of those things, the movie was engaging. It does get your emotions going, and it does draw you in. So from that perspective, I have to give this movie an A. If you saw this movie, what were your thoughts on it? What letter grade would you give it? From an A+ to an F, what did you think of this movie if you happen to see it? Let me know in the comments. While you're there, make sure to hit that subscribe button, be a part of Durbania and all the new videos and stuff coming out here. I want to let you know this, Rachel Wagner, she's got this awesome YouTube channel, and I get to be a part of it on Sunday. She's doing a live stream. I've never done a live stream before, so this is going to be interesting. And we're going to talk like top 5 favorite movies of 2016 and things like that so far. So I'm looking forward to being a part of that with Rachel Wagner on her YouTube channel. You can check out her channel right now and see what it's like. She does unboxings, movie reviews, and all kinds of really cool things like that. And lots of live streams talking about movies and a lot of Disney movie talk too. So it's really cool. So I'm looking forward to being a part of that Sunday afternoon. So make sure you check that out on her channel. So I'm Durbin. Thank you for checking out Durbania.